How's everybody doing? Welcome. Welcome, one and all, to the penultimate Chapter 12 live stream discussion.
Is not...
No, thank you, Ad. Welcome, everybody. Thank you guys all for tuning in. I know this is, literally the day before the finale drops, but I had a few things going on yesterday with prepping for Genlock and Kingdom Hearts 3, and also, you know, wrapping up with RWBY, so I had to kind of push this discussion, for tonight, but, I think it's gonna be a relatively easygoing, a relatively quick discussion, similar to last week, just because it's actually, the episode was shorter than last week's episode 11, so, you know, if anything, tomorrow's episode is the one that I'm, like, dreading, just because it's the finale, it has a lot of things, you know, it's built up a lot of expectations for things to go down, and it's what's gonna leave us off until, like, RTX and Volume 7 and everything else like that, but first and foremost, I'm going to take this off too, by the way, just because my ears kind of hurt. I am going to have my headset to the side so I can at least hear notifications and respond to them accordingly. But how's everybody doing? How's everyone's week been? It's been a stressful and busy week for me. RWBY Volume 6 is wrapping up. Genlock is starting up with episode 1 coming out for the public for everybody.
I already got KH3, so I'm gonna play while listening to you
Wow,
smile.
I'm so upset. You have KH3 already?
Arnold, the next few days are going to be hype. Also, I am watching your KH streams.
Nice.
I finished KH1, KH 358 halves.
Good
now
stuff.
I am on Birth by Sleep.
I appreciate it. Mr.
Hashtag
Fritz,
good.
Joey, and Zombie Kill, you both just reached the 1-year mark for Twitch subs, so I appreciate that. You guys should have the Yang emblems over on Twitch now. I am going to be streaming all of Kingdom Hearts 3 from start to 100% completion on Tuesday. I actually might do... It might be my first 24-hour live stream. I'm not going to lie. I think I'm going to sleep, like, all day Tuesday. I'm sorry, all day Monday, so the day can just go by. But I am going to be streaming Kingdom Hearts 3. You guys are going to see all of my first-time reactions and just, like, the build-up to this game that I've been waiting for since I was,
RWBY
you know, since I started it.
Genlock hype. Hope we get some sweet new Lamar beats.
Oh my god, I didn't even think of Lamar! Lamar dropping a beat on Genlock? Holy shit. Yeah, I'm so excited. So for Genlock in particular, so... Oh my gosh, guys.
Pieces lie. There is only waifus through waifus.
Oh
I
gosh.
gain fan art through fan art. I gain pairings through pairings. I gain OTPs through OTPs.
Alright,
Started the fan
Jackson.
show set me free. Here's So Good Volume 6 finale.
Thank you guys for the donations. I appreciate it. Let's keep the memes down to a minimum. I do kind of want to get through a few things, so I am going to mute the notifications just for a little bit, just so I don't get constantly distracted. But yeah, so like I said, RWBY Volume 6 is ending tomorrow with the finale. Obviously, for first members, I'm going to have one more live stream discussion to go through next week. It has been a fantastic volume. It has been a fantastic last few months of content. Obviously, I've been doing the reactions, the live stream discussions. I did my first few theories this volume, which I still have a couple more in the tank for probably what's going to be post-RWBY, even though the episodes have already all been out at this point. The shit posting videos, I was really strong on those. They kind of faltered towards the end because things were just kind of getting super serious with the volume. You know, I did some of the AMV videos, like the Salem Sacrifice, the Neo video. Content this year, I'm super proud of everything that I did this year regarding RWBY Volume 6, and as the saying goes, when one door closes, another door opens. So immediately after RWBY Volume 6 wraps up, I'm going to be shifting gears for Rooster Teeth's new 3D animated show, Genlock. If you guys don't know, this is Rooster Teeth's next big animated series. Like, first it was RWBY, and now it's RWBY, and Genlock is the next thing that they're starting. Episode 1 will be out on the Rooster Teeth site for everybody to watch for free, whether you are a first member or non-first member. But if you are a first member, you will be able to get episode 2 as well. I'm going to be focusing on that series after RWBY is done. I'm going to be doing reactions and reviews. I'm not going to be doing live stream discussions this time around because I do want to shift a little bit of the focus to gaming. Like I said, Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out on Tuesday. I'm going to be doing a full, probably a 24-hour plus live stream until I finish the game. So yeah. Sorry for the interruption. I'm currently at work and unable to watch. I just wanted to ask if you remember what I said last week. I was right about the Grim attack. Well, like I said, yeah, last week a lot of people were kind of hit the nail on the head with the Grim attack just because it, you know what I mean? Like, Argus was using their biggest, most powerful weapon to take on students. And then you had, like, all this commotion. You had people, like, worrying, like, the earthquake and stuff like, well, like, the earth, like, the ground shaking and stuff like that. People could feel the tension, and they knew what was going on. So, yeah. It was very clear what was going down. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to this chapter in particular. But, like I said, I definitely want to say, I mean, I know it's not the last live stream discussion, but I kind of want to mention it because tomorrow the last episode is going to come out and all my thoughts are going to be out there for the video. But I definitely want to say thank you to everybody if you guys have watched any kind of content that I've made this year, or rather this volume pertaining to RWBY. Like I said, this volume has been like one of the best for me in terms of like making videos and not just, you know, expanding beyond just the reactions and the discussions. Like I said, like the creativity of like the AMVs and the shitposts were really fun and great. And then, like I said, I dipped into a bit of theory crafting this volume, which was really great. And, you know, it was awesome that I was actually able to kind of deliver that. And a lot of those videos I'm really proud of, even though some of them didn't end up coming true. But I'm super excited for Genlock. Like I said, the first episode is great. I've already seen it. I'm waiting for everybody else to kind of jump into the Genlock hype so we can all kind of be on the same page. And like I said, reactions and reviews for Genlock will be coming on a weekly basis, depending on how Rooster Teeth's content guidelines are going to be for it, because apparently Genlock is going to be a first exclusive series for Rooster Teeth, excluding the first episode. So, so hopefully, fingers crossed, but hopefully the guidelines aren't too restrictive in terms of people, you know, like myself and such who make who make Rooster Teeth based content. But either way, like I said, I'll still be doing the reviews. I'm going to be focusing on Kingdom Hearts 3. Like I said, I'm going to be streaming it live on my Twitch channel. So if you're following me on Twitch, you'll be able to watch live in the moment while I go through the game for the first time, all of my initial reactions. I've been a KH fan since 2001, 2002 when it came out on the PS2. The first Kingdom Hearts game. I've played every KH game since then. I've been waiting for what feels like forever for this game to come out, and it's finally out. People have already played it. People have finished it. Some people have actually finished it, and I'm going to be streaming it most likely be streaming it at midnight on Tuesday. Well, Tuesday, 12 a.m. So, and then I'll be redirecting all of those to YouTube like a day or two afterwards, just so that way, you know, people who aren't on Twitch can still enjoy and watch it. Are you gonna do reviews for Genlock similar to RWBY weekly streams? Again, at work, can't watch currently. I'm gonna be doing reviews for Genlock. They're gonna be reviews and reactions, but I'm not gonna be doing weekly live streams. But yeah, let's see. Reactions would be a definite thing you'd have to check in with them for. Well, the community manager already came out and said that they're currently working on community guidelines for Genlock. So they already, when's your Genlock episode 1 reaction coming out? It will either be out on Sunday or Monday. And the reason for that is because my episode 12 reaction for RWBY comes out tomorrow, but I'm also recording my episode 13 reaction for the finale, which will also be going up on Patreon later that day. And I don't want to like bombard my channel with a bunch of stuff. I want Saturday to focus on like episode 12, and either Sunday night or Monday morning will be Genlock episode 1. And then I also have to focus on the review and things of that nature. So, yeah, it'll probably be 1 or 2 days before I get the Genlock stuff out, so I can kind of put the final nail in RWBY for Volume 6. Yeah, and then like I said, I got to shift gears for Kingdom Hearts 3 on Tuesday, which Monday night I'm gonna try, or Monday I'm gonna try to stay up super late on Sunday, so that way I can kind of like roll over my sleep hours, so that way I can kind of focus on an all-nighter 24-hour stream on Tuesday when KH comes out. I'm so excited for that game. You guys have no idea how stoked I am. Well, I mean, if you guys have also played KH and you guys have been waiting just as long as I have, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are just as excited as I am, but I'm gonna, like, lose my mind, like, 10 different ways with that game. The reveals, the reactions, the story coming to a close after 15, 16 years of playing through all of the games. It's gonna be fantastic. Like I said, I was in middle school when I started Kingdom Hearts, and now I'm an adult now, you know. Sounds like you're having a busy week ahead. Just remember the wise words of Waldo Butters: "Sleep is God. Go worship." Well, yeah. I'll be all right. I'll definitely be all right. Like I said, RWBY's gonna be ending. I'm just replacing a show. It sounds a little bit more hectic because when one show ends, another one immediately begins. So at least for the first week, it's gonna be a little crazy and hectic. But for the most part, I'll be good. Yeah, I haven't seen the last 4 trailers that have come out for Kingdom Hearts. I have not seen, and I have not heard the opening. I haven't seen the opening. So all of those reactions are going to be first time genuine when I see it in the game, and I'm so excited. I can't wait. But let's see. Let me get through some of these really quick before we jump into the discussion, because I do feel like I'm rambling already. Here's to Kingdom Hearts 3. Got Resident Evil 2 Remake last night. Nice. Alana Wolf. I'm not really into Resident Evil. I have seen a little bit of gameplay on RE2, and it looks fun. Definitely looks great. Obviously, it's a remake of a PS1 game, but I don't know. I might play that maybe for October, like the month of Halloween. I'm not really that crazy about horror games, to be completely honest. So at least right now, I have no initial plans to play it, especially since things like Devil May Cry 5 are coming out after Kingdom Hearts, and Sekiro's Shadows Die Twice, and then whatever they're going to announce for P5 are in March. And I also want to go back to playing Tales of Vesperia, and I've been meaning to get back to playing Persona 5 for my New Game Plus that I still haven't started. I beat P5 last year, so a lot of gaming stuff that I kind of want to shift back to. And then once Genlock is over, then I'm going to continue with Red vs. Blue. Hey Arnold, love your content. It makes my work night go much faster. I'll be playing Kingdom Hearts, I think, on said... Wait, I think. Because that's what... okay, the all-in-one package says. Yeah, so the all-in-one package gives you all of the Kingdom Hearts games. So yeah, you should most likely be playing it. Can we nickname the giant Leviathan Grim Larry? I've already heard of a few community names. I've heard Larry, I've heard Lenny, I've heard Bubbles. I like Bubbles because Mr. Bubbles from BioShock, that's what it reminds me of, at least. When's your Gemlock reaction? Okay, I answered that one. Let's see. Oreo, welcome to the live stream. First time actually catching one of these. Well, you caught the second to last live stream that I'm doing for Volume 6, but better late than never. Glad to have you here, bud. And for everybody else, if this is your first time in here as well, we're going to be starting the discussion any minute, I promise. I'm just getting through the last few super chats before we jump in. And I see I see all of you guys in the chat as well. Let's see. How exactly were Leviathans dealt prior to the advent of hill-sized robots that happens to be strangely ineffective against single opponents? Well, I mean, it would basically be like a mecha fight. Either that, or they could just blast the Grim from a distance with all the dust that they have. Not too sure about the practicality of it, of course, but, you know, who knows, really. Let's see. So awesome to be able to catch one of these on time. Arnold, you're so awesome. I want to say I really appreciate and admire everything you do for the RWBY community. Your reactions are always so entertaining to see. Della Fuentes? Is that how you say that? Or Fuentes? I'm pretty sure there's an accent to that. But thank you. Thank you very much for the $20 super chat. Very generous of you. Thank you for the kind words as well. Like I said, this volume has been incredible. One of the best volumes of RWBY, in my opinion. Definitely leaps and bounds above Volume 5 in retrospect. But I'm just happy that a lot of you guys enjoy the content, because I'm definitely proud of all the videos that I made this year. And like I said, I'm super excited for Genlock. I'm excited for Kingdom Hearts. I'm excited for RTX, for Volume 7 stuff that they're going to show. And then we get back into it in the fall. So definitely appreciate it. Thank you very much. And of course, for everybody else, welcome to the stream. we're going to get into RWBY Volume 6, Chapter 12, Seeing Red, which I assume is just a pun or a play on, like, you know, seeing red, because bulls are, like, triggered by color red. I also thought it meant, like, Adam's blood, because, you know, this episode confirmed, like, basically killed him off. But one thing that I will say about these last couple of episodes, they could have easily bunched these episodes together, because what's happening in my mind right now, because I'm about to go into the discussion, but what's happening in my mind right now is that I'm putting episode 11 event, I'm mixing episode 11 events with episode 12 events, because they're literally, like, cohesive. It's basically two halves of the same coin, basically. And I'm having a hard time remembering what specifically happened in this episode, like with Blake and Yang and Adam, because they just happened back to back. Like, they were both two 10-ish minute episodes that definitely could have been mushed together for a 20-minute episode, especially with all the action and stuff like that. What's the big key in the background? That, my friend, is a Keyblade, the iconic weapon of Kingdom Hearts 3 that I've been talking about this whole time. Hey, what's up, Colton? I'm hoping to catch the entire Kingdom Hearts stream all-nighter and everything. Looking forward to Genlock. Also looking forward to more Red versus Blue. Absolutely. Genlock will only be 8 episodes. So at the very least, or at the most, we have another... After this week, we have 6 more weeks of Genlock. And then I'll be switching gears yet again for Red versus Blue and more gaming content. So, I'm very much excited as well. Hey, what's up, Autumn? Thank you for joining. I'm not as nervous as that's another thing, too. I'm not as nervous, at least maybe not right now because it's not here yet, but, like, definitely when I'm about to, like, prep and press play to watch the final episode of Volume 6, my nerves are probably going to be super unsettled. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't not cried at a finale since Volume 2. I cried during Volume 3 finale, obviously with Pyrrha. The Volume 3 finale, the Volume 4 finale I did as well, just because it was, like, super overwhelming. And it kind of, like, there were a little bit of heartstrings pulled with RWBY's speech, and they had the cold rendition playing during the finale as well, so that got me. And Volume 5 finale, yeah, like, All That Matters broke me too. So, I don't know how this volume is going to leave off. Hopefully I can make it through, you know? Hopefully I don't break down into tears because, you know, it's another bittersweet conclusion. I am just very apprehensive. I don't know if it's just going to be a clean slate, like, oh, your RWBY's just going to use her silver eyes. Everything's going to be cool. I don't know. It's definitely catching me a little off guard right now. I don't really know how to feel about these Grimm and what's at stake and whose lives are at stake and what's going to happen as a result. And are they going to make it to Atlas by the end of the episode? Are they going to linger a little bit into Volume 7 before they get to Atlas, etc., etc.? So I am very... It's up in the air, which is a good thing because that means it's unpredictable, at least from my perspective. But yeah, very, very much looking forward to everything that's going to happen overall. But yeah, anyways, without further ado, let us talk about this episode. Hey, what's up, Rebecca? How's it going? Asexual Gavin, nice to see you. Thank you for tuning in. I've rambled for about 20 minutes now, so I think it's a good time to actually start the discussion. That's what I assume most of you guys are here for. Arnold, have you played Nier Automata? I have not. I own it. I just haven't started it yet. I do plan on streaming that in the future if I ever can make the time. Let's see. How many episodes of Genlock? Genlock's going to be 8 episodes. I'm trying to get through the last bit of the chat before we jump into the discussion. Place your bets. Oh boy. Yeah, so I did a poll on Twitter and on YouTube about, like, a bunch of different things, outcomes that could happen during this volume. I mentioned either RWBY's going to use her silver eyes, you know, she's going to laser beam monsters with her eyeballs. Ozpin's going to come back and try to help them out. Maybe maybe his cane has, like, a secret special power that can help them out. What else did I mention? I mentioned that Ironwood or Winter might come back, or might show up to provide support. And I also just kind of threw in a cheeky one like, oh, Summer Rose will be either mentioned, shown, or referenced in some way, shape, or form. So whether that be a parallel to what RWBY's doing, or someone's going to say her name, or whatever the case might be. Most people voted for Ironwood or Winter showing up. So fingers crossed, of course. The next lead up to that was RWBY using her silver eyes. Which is very clear that that's probably going to be the case, because the previous episodes, Maria mentioned, you know, RWBY's trial by fire. She's only going to be able to use her silver eyes. She's only going to be able to train her silver eyes in the presence of Grimm. And there are Grimm by the dozen. So yeah. Let's see. Nothing but disappointment. Oh, I'm sorry, Winter. Winter, let me just say, if Winter or Ironwood show up in the episode, I'm going to be thinking of you, okay? I'm going to be so happy for you, more so than for myself. So let's just go with that. But anyways, let us begin with the chapter. Obviously the opening sequence here. I have a few things about this episode. I was a little iffy on the episode. You guys will hear my thoughts for sure by the end of it. But the episode starts off like, obviously Maria. I don't know why there's so much, like, I don't know, like, it's very clear that everyone was just, like, messing around, like, making a big deal out of a small situation, because now the big threat is upon them with the Leviathan and the, oh, slow chat, that's right, thank you for reminding me. Guys, where would I be without you? I swear to God, this live stream would be hell in a handbasket if it wasn't for you guys reminding me. Thank you, I appreciate it. Okay, slow chat has been enabled. One comment every 45 seconds. I don't want to kill my mods here. And I definitely want to be able to look at the chat. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, give me one more. I need to take a swig of water here before I get into the nitty-gritty. So, I liked this little setup here. I noticed it at the beginning, but I didn't know exactly what it was inferring. When I saw, like, the red blimp of, like, oh, shoot, something's moving towards them. What is that? They don't know because they're too busy, like, gawking at each other about, like, oh, you had to get children involved. And then Maria's just trolling the hell out of Cordo. So this entire sequence right here, I was like, I was already a little upset. I was a little annoyed by it because I'm like, why are they still, like, bickering? These old women, like, stop. Like, act your age. I would say act your age, not your shoe size, but, like, I don't know. The elderly are just, like, at this, I think they're both at an age right now where they're just, like, they've reached the point of just not giving a fuck, like, not caring about anything. So, yeah, like, this opening sequence, I was like, can you two, like, squash the beef? Also, I had an incredibly delayed reaction during, this sequence because of, Oscar and Maria. I definitely want to say right now, because I don't really express it during the reaction, but I find the way that they cut off Oscar and Maria, like, getting hit with the missile explosion in the last episode, and then how they just came back into the picture like nothing happened from that. I was so removed from that moment. It was such a delayed reaction. I hear Maria, I see Oscar, and they're flying through the air, and then, like, a minute passes, and I'm like, oh, shit! They didn't get killed by that explosion. It's like it didn't even happen in my mind. Because, like, there was just no lasting consequence of that from that part to when I see it again. So I think that was a little bit of it was just a moment that fell flat in hindsight. Like, when you see that, and if I were to just watch the series, you know, watch episode to episode, I'd just be like, oh, that doesn't matter. Even though they made it super dramatic and the ship was, you know, spiraling out of control. I was a little confused by it. I will admit. It like I said, you'll see my reaction. It's a fucking delayed reaction. I was like, oh shoot, that's right, they didn't die. So yeah. It was I know it didn't hit the ship, but, like, the fact that the ship got hit with the shockwave, and then it was spiraling, you could hear the beeping, and they were like, oh no. It just felt a little, it felt like a dramatic moment that fell flat. So yeah. But, yet again, everyone here is fatigued. The only two people out of this entire bunch that really, I mean, aside from what's initially going to happen, is just the top squad. Like, everyone up here has their aura, like Ruby, Weiss, Ren, and Crow. Ren's semblance, it's not going to help anyone. It's probably going to help this group of people. I think his semblance might have the capabilities without Jean's aura amplification to mask them at least, but it's not going to mask the whole damn city. And then Crow's semblance is useless in any given situation if there's people that are at risk of getting hurt or injured. So, Berenguel shirt? Yes, this is the Berenguel shirt. This is one of my favorite Rooster Teeth, like, Ruby shirts. I got this at RTX. I love this shirt so much. I like the color, and then obviously the Berenguel's a pretty cool Grim. But yeah, like, this entire thing right here, so removed from it. So removed from it. Like, I saw them, and I just kept going. And it didn't click in my head of what happened last week, because there they are. Completely fine. Maria also said another thing that, like, caught me off guard. She was like, I have one missile left. And I was like, where are the other, like, 20 that were in the chamber when you, like, got super cocky and shot one at her and she caught it? So, again, there were just a few moments here or there that took me out of the episode for a little bit. That I was just like, wait, no, that doesn't make sense. Or, wait, what the hell? I'm missing something. Am I missing something? So yeah, and I know this whole thing was just to set up, like, the big confrontation between them, because, you know, like, this whole confrontation is while this whole thing's happening, the Leviathan's getting closer and closer to the shore, and they don't realize that because they're bickering over, well, Cordo's kind of flexing her military might, and Team RWBY and company are just like, oh, well, we have no other choice. You're not giving us any other choice, so we just have to attack you. We just have to steal from you. So, the one missile was just a bait. Oh yeah, that's right. Well, then Cordo's stupid then. Cordo's dumb then for believing that. Those are her airships. Weird flex, but okay. Did you watch the episode 13 sneak peek? I don't watch the sneak peeks, so that's a hard no from me, Chief. Nope, I did not. Did I actually watch the last... I don't even remember if I watched the last RWBY Rewind. I've only seen 2 RWBY Rewinds this entire volume. Once the volume's over, I have to go back and rewatch it. Such wit! Such tenacity! I love that. I love how that's like a constant thing. I think you guys have mentioned that every episode since Cordo's come into the picture. But yeah. Yeah, this entire situation. Here's another thing, too. I feel so bad for Oscar fans. And what I mean by that is, like, hashtag Oscar Protection Squad. The Protection Squad is working overtime this volume. Oscar gets punched in the face by Crow indirectly. He gets manhandled by Jean to the point where everyone thinks he ran away from home. He comes back. And he gets, like, shot out of the sky. Like, people are, like, wondering, like, what the heck's happening to Oscar? Is he gonna be okay? And then they're piloting this airship, and it gets ran into the forest. And I'm just like, dude, Oscar fans must be having the worst of it right now, just wondering if Oscar's gonna make it out of this volume alive. And I realized that after this episode, I was like, Jesus Christ, Oscar can't catch a break. I can only imagine what really diehard Oscar fans are thinking, like, oh my gosh, is he gonna be, like, you know what I mean? I just felt really and then my meme of Crow constantly punching him doesn't help either. I appreciate your concern. Oh, Oscar Pine, I see you. My poor son. At this point, I'm like, it wouldn't be that. I wouldn't mind just living the rest of my life as a farmer with as much shit as that Oscar's gone through. And who's to say Ozpin won't just come back and hostile take him over at the end of the day? You know, he's going through all of this knowing that there's a chance that he might just lose his entire sense of self by the end of it. So, I don't know. It's a little much on the kid. I guess it makes sense, because if he can make it through this, then at the end of the day, he just becomes a stronger character because of it. But at the same time, I'm like, damn, this kid's going through the ringer just as bad as anybody else here. Just as bad as RWBY, if not worse. So, and then, again, Maria doesn't help any situation. She's with Weiss, she's triggering Cordo. She's with Oscar, she's putting everyone on the ship in danger. And I'm just like, Maria, like, I know you're old, I know you've paid your dues to your people, to your country, to whatever, but, like, I don't know, have some, I know she's probably senile at this point, too. Like, all of it, like, she's already lost her vision, you know, I don't know. She just likes, she's just like a loose cannon at this point. Hunt is right. That face is gonna be us after KH3. Oh god. Hey Murder, how you doing? Planning on getting Kingdom Hearts 3 myself, but I won't be able to watch your live streams for it, unfortunately. Hope you love it as hope you like it. Wait, I hope you love it like I will. Also, hashtag Adam Burial Squad. That's not funny. That last part, not a fan of that last part. Will Pendragon, thank you very much for the $10 super chat, bud. I will have my Let's Play up on YouTube, so I'll be playing it live on Twitch, but then I'll be redirecting it to YouTube. So if you're not able to watch it live, you can watch it at your own convenience, like if you get further than where I am in the game. So not a problem whatsoever, my friend. That one ain't it, Chief? Yeah, oh god. I did like this scene here. Well, actually, this entire setup, I was just like, this is a big facepalm moment. Like the entire setup for the sniper shot, and it's like, RWBY, I get it. You're moving in an aircraft. You have to account for centrifugal force and the Coriolis effect and wind speed and drop distance and all this other stuff. But RWBY is like one of the worst snipers I've ever seen. Like, she couldn't hit Tyrion in Volume 4 and he wasn't even moving. You know, and then, I don't know. It's just like, she's such a bad shot at times. When it matters most, it's the worst shot. And I'm like, why? Why? And it was like, that's an entire bullet, too. That's like, not even like, I don't know. And this whole thing, obviously, I understand it was dramatic effect, but it kind of blew up in her face immediately after. Like, quite literally immediately after. The whole airship gets blown out of the sky, and Maria's like, my eyes! I thought that was, I know it was supposed to be serious, but I thought that was incredibly funny, because it reminded me of, like, a Velma moment. Like, she's like, I'm blind, I can't see a thing without my glasses. Except, like, she literally just lost her eyes, they short-circuited, which was kind of funny. I mentioned it in my reaction, but it makes a lot more sense now. Nora lost her aura when Jean protected her, and I was like, why didn't Nora just get hit by that? She could have just superpowered herself, but you know, she doesn't have aura, so she doesn't have her she can't use her semblance. I thought that would have been such a perfect opportunity to see Nora go like, I don't know, just like Hulk smash mode and just destroy this mech with one hammer swing. It would have been so great, but they set it up to where everyone, at this point, everyone, like I said, but Crow and Ren are useless at this point. They're the only ones who have aura still, if I'm not mistaken. So, Nora would have suplexed the mech. Honestly, I'd pay to see that at that point. She just jumped into the water, like, grabs it by its heel, and just flips it over her. Jesus. Oh, no! Someone said Nora. Like, the N for Nora, and then, like, N, and then aura. So, no. Link, the hero of the Minish. No. No. We're not doing this. That was actually a good pun, though. I'll give you that. You know what? I'll give that to you. I'll give that to you. That was a really good one. I haven't seen that one around. But yeah, these two sequences were really great. Obviously, the whole dramatic effect thing. And again, Maria's just flexing her muscles at this point. A little annoying. Again, like I said, Oscar protection. Yo, where's the Oscar protection squad? Are you guys in here? Reporting for duty? Anybody? Does anyone care that this kid's gonna be killed by the end of this volume? Thankfully, he hasn't been, like, severely hurt. Like, I think he still has aura. And I'm wondering if or when Ozpin's gonna come back. I understand the whole purpose of Ozpin leaving is to kind of make us realize, or to just push the idea or push the concept or push the fact that the students don't need him to make moves. They're like, RWBY can be independent. Everyone can kind of make their own game plans without the need for adults. And, you know, RWBY's whole, motivational speech a few episodes back. So I think that's the big reason why, like, yeah, Ozpin left, because, you know, they were like, oh, yeah, all you are is, you know, you're the worst thing that ever happened to us. So he's like, all right, I'm just going to leave if that's how you feel. But it also shows, again, that they don't really need Ozpin, but low-key, they need Ozpin. Like, let's be real. You need Ozpin in order to defeat Salem, like, no matter what. So, but yeah, Oscar is just going through so much stress and so much, like, turmoil right now. Maria loses her eyes mid-flight. She's like, Jesus, take the wheel, right? Oscar, take the wheel, or take the stick, or whatever it's called. And he's just supposed to be a pilot out of nowhere. He is a good I'm not going to say he's a good strategist, but he was making some really good shot calls with the whole air support and whatnot. It's a little odd that they do this whole military thing. I don't really think it's that necessary. You know, just talk to them on your damn scroll or something. I understand that they're trying to make it seem like, all right, you don't want the scroll to be, like, in the way or whatever, but I don't know. It just seems a little silly for them to constantly do this to communicate when they've never done that in the past. Anytime they've ever talked in the past, it was on the scroll like it was a phone. But, yeah, little nitpick. I don't really mind that. But, everyone's going to shit. Like I said, Maria, eyeballs, out of commission. Hey, Arnold, glad to be a patron now. Oh, thank you, Louie. Appreciate that. Yeah, I saw you in the Discord earlier. Never thought it would lead to playing Skyrim and Kingdom Hearts on my Alexa, but hey, surprises are good. Also, do you think Hazel will show up in the finale? Since they mentioned him in episode 2. No, I don't think so. I think Hazel is gonna stick behind. Well, as of right now, we still don't even know the perspective of the villains, right? A few episodes back, Tyrion and Watts are heading to Atlas. Neo and Cinder are finding their way to Atlas. It doesn't seem like they're all going to be converging to Argus. They might very well have their own means of getting there. I expect Neo to be a master of disguise. I expect Neo and Cinder to actually be on site or around Argus, or even in Argus right now, waiting for an opportunity to steal an airship or to stow away in the back just to get there. Watts and Tyrion, I think Watts has some connections. I think Watts definitely can have the means of getting there himself, whether it be from his own technology or whether he has people on the inside or whatever the case might be. I don't know. I honestly was under the assumption that we'd be getting to Atlas this volume. If not this volume, by the end of this volume, but I don't know. I really don't know what this last episode... It could very well be a volume 4, where they deal with this big conflict, right? The Nuclevi from volume 4, this one being the Leviathan and all of these flying Grimm. And they could very well deal with the consequence, deal with this impending doom, and then, make it to Atlas, or make it to Solitas at the very least by the end of it. But I don't know. I feel like there's going to be something holding them back, or something's going to happen. And then we have an end credit scene that's going to leave us off just as much as whatever is going to conclude for the episode. So I just don't know. I just don't know. But to answer your initial question, no, I don't think Hazel's going to be around for a while. We might see Hazel again when we go to Vacuo at most. But I think Atlas is very much Watts' turf at this point. And the fact that him and Tyrion are going, they don't know that Neo's going. They don't know that Cinder's going. So the fact that they're just going to show up there will just work more in the villain's favor. But the Grimm don't feel intimidating anymore. I mean, they still feel intimidating. Like, I was very scared about the apathy. They're definitely a threat. And if you notice, too, like, the Sphinx Grimm, it took Team RWBY and Crow, it took, like, a combined effort from all of them to kill one. And then you have, like, dozens of them, and you have dozens of Manticore, which Manticore are pretty fodder, but, like, in numbers, that's an issue. And then you have this giant, freaking Godzilla-esque looking Grimm in the ocean that God knows what that thing can do, if it can do anything other than just looking like a giant dolphin freaking platypus hybrid. But no, I still think the Grimm are a threat. It just matters how Silver Eyes are implemented. If RWBY can just look at all these Grimm and just laser beam them all out of the sky with no consequence, then yeah, I'll have a little bit of an issue with that. But, you know, we have to wait and see. We have nothing to go off of whether or not that's going to happen. But yeah, Maria, feel bad for her. Again, like her and Oscar, two peas in a pod at this point. Like one person goes through it, they drag the other person into it as well. But then again, Maria kind of set this all up to happen regardless. I don't know how I feel about this like upcoming scene. So like again, Crow, I don't know why Crow at this point doesn't just believe in RWBY. He's like, they've butted heads so many times up until this moment, and I kind of liked this in a way. So someone in my Discord, Sassy Dragon, I don't know if they're in here right now, but Sassy mentioned that like, and there have been so many instances where it could have happened and it could have worked and it could have been really impactful, that like an example like this, if Crow like grabbed RWBY's hand and RWBY turned to look at him, it would have been so awesome if like it shifted to like an image of Summer Rose, because like RWBY's basically like a spitting image of her mom. It would have been so cool for him to just see Summer Rose like fully in that moment as a spitting image of her daughter, or see RWBY as a spitting image of her mother in that moment. Because again, another situation's coming about. RWBY's not like, oh, Uncle Crow, what do we do? Like RWBY's taking the initiative herself to do something about it, despite him not wanting her to get hurt, despite him not wanting her to get in trouble, or whatever the case. And she's like, you need to trust me. I think that would have been really cool. Nah, we won't overuse Summer. Well, I mean, they've never used Summer in any context in the show other than a picture, you know, and Yang mentioning her once in Volume 2. So I think that would have been a great opportunity. I mean, there were so many opportunities like that, right? Like when RWBY was like talking down to, you know, well, not talking down to him, but was talking to him from the stairs, and he like, Maria was like, oh, I guess you didn't give her credit either. When he looked at her, that would have been another awesome moment, because like she looked back at him, and that would have been a great opportunity to do something like that as well. But yeah, I mean, he could have easily seen that for himself, but to translate that to the audience would have been a really cool moment, in my opinion. So, you know, that's that. I loved these two shots right here. I think during my reaction, I mentioned it similar to something akin to like David and Goliath, right? Like you have RWBY, this small, innocent, young soul who's, you know, the embodiment of like simplicity and like you're just a child at the end of the day, looking up to like the Titan could represent so many things: adversity, challenge, struggle, the strongest military power. And I loved how that kind of, how it reflected a bit in her as a character, and just like the fact that she even mentioned it too. She's like, we've dealt with bigger and badder people than you, and we're not gonna let you get in our way. I thought it was a really cool cool bits of symbolism there. Hold on, give me 1 second. But yeah, so let me see. Huh. Stop beating yourself up, Crow. Yeah. Can't stay because of work, but love the discussion. Keep it up. Thank you, Dark Titan. The rest of it will be uploaded as usual if you want to tune back in to watch it later. Can RWBY stop giving speeches every episode? I mean, yeah, I also do feel like the speech, for the most part, kind of fell on deaf ears, not just for Cordo, but for myself as well, because I can't unsee this. And it comes down to what I'm going to talk about. I guess we can talk about it now because it's going to be brought up again towards the end of the episode, but, you know, it's like, who's at fault here, right? Would you blame Cordovan being at fault because despite her being a military power and being someone of authority, she decided not to hear out the students, despite the fact that that's her You know, if she doesn't want to, she's not obligated. You know, she has no obligation to call up Ironwood. She has no obligation to believe any of these people. You know, would you argue, you know, I can see people, a lot of people are arguing the fact that, like, at the very least, you can blame her for the sake that she took out her big gun. A big gun that's not even meant to fight humans. It's meant specifically to fight Grimm, which is why they're in a shitstorm at the end of the episode when it's out of commission and you got this actual threat that's now everyone in the city that you're meant to defend is in danger because you wanted to boast so much. But then you have to look at Team RWBY. Just because they're the protagonists, you can't just absolve them of their wrongdoings because of Salem, right? You can't look at, and that's where I'm having like a little bit of internal conflict here, because I want to say Team RWBY is at fault here. At the end of the day, because Cordo's main objective is obviously keep the city safe and don't let anyone in or out of Atlas who aren't Atlas personnel. You really can't get mad at Cordo for saying no. If she says no, then guess what? You're shit out of luck. You know, like, and the fact that they went with Jean's plan of like, hey, let's steal from a military base. What could possibly go wrong? And it would have worked too, but obviously things backfired. But at the same time, I understand that, you know, Team RWBY and company, you know, they have this relic. They know things that nobody else knows. It's Salem that they're dealing with at the end of the day, and that's the urgency. The urgency is Salem, and the urgency is taken a step further because Cordo isn't willing to hear them out, despite the fact that I don't think they're going to tell Cordo all of this sensitive information. The problem is, if there's no repercussions here, and this is something that Eruption Fang touches on, if there's no consequence for them breaking into a military base, stealing one of their airships, Weiss literally committing treason, if there's no consequence for any of that, then what that basically outlines is that Team RWBY can do whatever they want. If they're going to say, well, because of Salem, they can legitimately do whatever they want. I'm not saying that they will do whatever they want, but if they can just say, hey, you didn't give us a choice, we have to do this, then that, you know what I mean? Like, that shouldn't be pardoned anymore. So wouldn't Ironwood just pardon them? I don't even know, because we don't know Ironwood's mental state. We don't know if Ironwood's even willing to listen to them based on his actions, based on the fact that, like, he's doing all this embargo. Like, I think Ironwood's just as worse, to be completely honest, especially since he's on edge. Everyone is pointing fingers at Atlas, and, you know, him being the military general as well as the headmaster of that kingdom. I can only imagine the levels of stress that he's under right now. I'm willing to say that both sides are at fault here, but I'm not willing to say that more fault is on Cordo than it is on Team RWBY. And again, it goes back to the whole idea of, like, if someone says no to you, then it's no. Find another way to get there. Find a boat, make a raft. I don't know. You know, I really don't think it's wise to just be like, oh, well, she's at fault too. She was doing her job for the most part. She flexed towards the end, and yeah, that cockiness is costing her at this point. Like, as it's one thing to deny them, but now the city being under attack and her having no defense for it, that's on her. Her defending or, like, reprimanding Team RWBY, at the end of the day, she had to have done it one way or another. You know? And again, Weiss committing treason. Are you just going to pardon that? Are you just going to be like, Weiss, it's all good. It's all good. You committed treason on your countrymen, but because you're fighting Salem, it doesn't matter. I don't know. It's a little... You can argue both sides. You can defend both sides as well. I just think that more people are saying, like, at least for the people that I've talked about, what do you guys think? Type 1 if you think Team RWBY's at fault. Type 2 if you think Cordo's at fault. Type 3 if you think they're equally at fault. I think that's the best way to kind of gauge what people think. Okay. There's a lot of 3s in there. All right. A lot of 1s in there. Come on now. A lot of twos in there. All right. Weiss commits treason. Well, Cordo tried to straight up kill her. That's worse. She did say it was a warning shot. And she did say if they didn't return that they'd be considered hostile. And yeah, she overthrew 2 security guards, or 2 Atlas guards, threw them overboard when they weren't doing anything wrong. They were literally escorting her back home. She's the one that, her and Maria are the ones that kind of took that, you know, took advantage of that. So, her being at the, you know, her, like, trying to kill Weiss or put Weiss's life in danger only came after the fact that she was initially, you know, she initially, you know, betrayed them. To be fair, at the end of the day, Cordo will most likely be fired from her actions. Yes, Ruby is 100% at fault for the hijacking, but using your largest tool when 2 gunships would have resolved the issue crosses the line. Yeah. Like I said, I definitely agree. Team RWBY was the catalyst that started all of this. And, you know, Maria didn't do much to mitigate, you know, the overall effects that have led us to where we are now. But yeah, at the end of the day, you have to understand this all happened because Team RWBY, like, did an oopsie. Let's just say that they did an oopsie. So yeah, like I said, I jumped the gun a little bit on talking about that because that's like the biggest thing to kind of mention here. And again, I mentioned this during the reaction. She's really a 17-year-old girl is trying to haggle or negotiate with a commanding officer. And I understand the fact of like, okay, be reasonable. At least hear out what they have to say. Don't straight shut them down. But again, I don't know. Maybe she's just an asshole. Maybe that's just the fact. Maybe she doesn't want to hear anybody out. Maybe she's, you know, she already thinks Atlas is above everybody else. She doesn't want to hear them out or anything. But RWBY literally negotiating and being like, you left us no other choice. Now I'm giving you a choice. I'm like, you really have no leverage to be negotiating with anyone. That felt a little forced. That definitely felt a little forced for me. She's 16. I believe RWBY is 17 now. I'm pretty sure she's 17 now. No, she's definitely not 18. Team RWBY did an oopsie. Cordo did an oopsie. This is Pew News. Subscribe to PewDiePie. I'm just kidding. I'm not sub to PewDiePie. Oh god, not the age debate again? No, she is 17 though. But yeah, she's confirmed 17. Unsubscribed. I'm not subscribed to T-Series either. I don't know what that whole feud is. I know it's like they're close to overtaking PewDiePie, but it's like, why would I sub to PewDiePie? I've never watched a PewDiePie video. I've never watched. The only videos I've ever watched of PewDiePie's are like the serious ones, which is odd. I guess whenever he's like mentioned, I kind of like, oh, I wonder what the biggest YouTuber on the platform did, or I wonder what he's up to. I've never watched any of his gaming videos. It's just I've just never really had the interest. Do your part. Okay, relax. Why doesn't PewDiePie subscribe to me? That's the real question. You are not doing your part. I don't care who's the leader of YouTube or who's the most subscribed on YouTube. I watch his videos. Like, I've seen his last few Pew News videos. They're really funny. But, like, I subscribe to people whose content I actually watch on a regular basis and I enjoy. You know, PewDiePie talks about YouTube news and drama. Not to say there's anything wrong with that. He keeps the community informed, but, like, I have Philip DeFranco for that. For the most part. But anyways, we're off topic. This was a cool shot as well. I liked this. I liked the music that played for this moment. It was a little over the top, like over epic. but I definitely liked the track that they used. I hope that that score track is in the like in the Volume 6 soundtrack when that comes out. Usually comes out like May, June. And that's like the next RWBY thing that I think we can all look forward to, along with the commentary, the Blu-ray DVD. But I did like this shot a lot. You know, it's just another big epic moment for RWBY. She's developed so much this volume, and that's I think they're not overdeveloping her, but they're making it like, okay, this volume was definitely a RWBY volume, like RWBY Rose volume. This was a volume to express that RWBY has developed and grown as a character. They gave her a lot of moments that pushed her, as, you know, gave her a lot of development. I don't think anyone can really argue that at that point. I think at this point, that fact is overstaying its welcome, especially with how many motivational speeches they've given her. Like, at this point, they're making it like, hey, we gave her development. We're going to show you every episode. She's going to express that with every person that she talks to and motivates, and you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like overcompensating in a way. And like I said, the speech wasn't bad. I can understand why she's trying to talk down Cordo, because she's just super arrogant and doesn't listen to anybody. But like, when you hear her say that to Crow more than once, you know, these adults who can think and make decisions for themselves, you know, and I understand the whole thing too. Like, it goes back to like what Ozpin said, right? Like, a guardian is a symbol of peace, but an army is a symbol of conflict. You know, what can one person do that an army can't? Like, a lot. And she's the simple and honest soul. She's the spark that motivates, that's meant to motivate and drive people. So I understand that. I just feel like it's tacked on a little bit too strong towards the end now. Like, if she gives another motivational speech in the finale, I'm gonna like lose my goddamn mind. I'm literally going to pause my reaction. I'm going to be like, okay, we need to have a serious talk now, because now it's a little ridiculous. So, yeah, I miss Ozpin too. Mia, I miss Ozpin so much. We got him in the first 2 episodes, and then he dips in episode 4. And he's been gone ever since. And, you know, hopefully he comes back. I don't know if he'll come back this volume, but I expect his ass to come back, especially if we talk to Ironwood. You know, or if the Maiden... You know, if the Winter Maiden becomes a factor, you know, going to Solitas, you'd expect there to be a different Maiden on each continent. So yeah. Spoilers. Summer's semblance was giving speeches. Oh, goodness. I'm fine with RWBY's dialogue. I'm not upset with RWBY's dialogue. I just think, like, they gave us 3 motivational speeches in, like, the last 2 episodes, so it feels a little overwhelming. Especially since 2 of them were for her uncle. You'd think he'd get the point at that point. Eventually, he can't be grounded forever. But anyways, like I said, it's not like, if anything, that's a nitpick than actually being something to be upset about. But let's shift fucking gears here. How do I start this? Where do I start? Taurus. Taurus. Oh, I like that one. Well, that was a thing. Oh, boy. Adam. I can say fully and firmly at this point that I really, really liked Adam as a character. Whenever he came around, I was like super, 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 like, anxious to see what he would do next. Volume 3 solidified him in my eyes as, like, someone who's, like, a serious threat, someone that you don't take lightly. I won't go as far back as, like, the Black trailer, because, like, there was no context to Adam. Like, Adam didn't exist in this show until Volume 3. So, that's the first thing. Seeing him attack Blake, seeing him cut off Yang's arm, seeing him in the flashback, you know, representing the Faunus, representing the White Fang, not wanting anything to do with humans until Cinder comes back for him with the Maiden powers. That perception, I guess, is something that stuck with a lot of people, because it's like, well, that's what we have to go on with Adam. Was he in Volume 4? He was in Volume 4. No, he wasn't in Volume 4. He was in Volume 4 in Yang's mind, because, you know, that's the lasting effects that Adam had as a villain, as an antagonist, as an obstacle for Yang, for her character development. You know, a nightmare, a reminder, you know, someone that was just a living nightmare for her. In Volume 5, when he kills Sienna Khan, and he takes another step to being, like, this fucking delusional, crazy character, and I'm like, holy shit, this guy, like, I have no idea what to... at this point, he's unpredictable. Seeing him again in this volume, I liked the things that we saw, like, especially from him as from a fighting perspective, because whenever we see Adam, like, the Adam short is so freaking cool. And getting tiny, you know, a little bit of snippets of his rise in the White Fang, his rise in power and influence over others. Oh boy. Voice acting for him was really great. I think what's his name? Garrett? I don't know the guy's name who does Adam. I know his name's like something Garrett or Garrett something. I think Adam's voice acting was the best these last few episodes. I'm just so upset. I'm just so upset that we got really nothing on Adam. And, like, as a character, I don't mean as, like, I don't know, it's so all over the place right now, because what he was presented as, what he shifted to be, you know what I mean? Like, the thing that I'm super hung up over was the Volume 3 flashback episode. When Cinder and company literally go to him, he's uninfluenced by Blake, he's uninfluenced by, like, anything that he's striving for now that, you know, he doesn't have the White Fang by his side, and he's literally, like, fighting for the Faunus, he's fighting for, you know, their revolution, and he's fighting for, like, he doesn't want anything to do with humans, he doesn't want to risk the Faunus because of humans. And then, like, by Volume 5, he doesn't give a shit about any of that. He only cares about Blake. And I'm not dismissing, like, the theme that I guess they decided to go with Adam is this deranged ex-boyfriend, you know, who's very toxic, and obviously he has no redeeming qualities as a person. I just think that everything leading up to Adam's death was just... I think it could have been done a lot better. You know? And the brand on his face, man. The fucking brand on his face. I don't know how long people have been asking to see Adam's face. And the reveal, in my opinion, had little payoff at the end of the day. And, like, and again, this is just my own perspective. I can't speak for anybody else, but I saw that moment, like, seeing that brand was just like, I don't excuse anything that Adam has done. Adam kills people, you know, Adam's a murderer, Adam's obviously doesn't respect a lot of people, doesn't respect humans, doesn't respect his own kind, right? Shitty person, no redeeming qualities, but he wasn't always like that, and that's what I was hanging on to. I was like, Adam, you're a shitty person, you're a fucked up individual, you clearly needed to be stopped, and at no point in my mind did I ever think Adam would have been this character who had redemption. His hands were too dirty at that point. Couldn't go back at that point. But at the very least, I wanted to see that turning point for him. And maybe we will, right? Maybe they'll Sienna Khan him. You know, you're dead, so we'll bring you back in a flashback to kind of appease the fact that people really liked you. You know, people really liked Sienna, and then she dies in Volume 5. 5 minutes of screen time, by the way. They bring her back in another 7-minute character short, and, you know, that's the lasting effect that we have of the leader of the White Fang. Or the new leader at that point after Gira. I don't know. I didn't rage, like, I didn't Eruption Fang the shit out of this, right? And I know, like, and I know a lot of people have been giving him shit too. I think Eruption Fang is very valid in what he says about Adam, especially. And it's more so, not just because Adam is his favorite character, but a lot of what he says rings true for Adam as a character. We know nothing of him. He just exists as this X, this crazy X. And I don't know. I think that there was a lot more that could have been expressed for Adam, because, you know, Adam dies and it's like, well, what did he really contribute to the show other than being a quote unquote tool for development for Blake and Yang? And maybe he was never meant to be anything more than that, but I felt like I felt like there was something there that Adam, you know, he was there for more than just that. But who knows? Who knows? I can just say that as the longer that the volume has gone, in the last couple of volumes too, the more I've grown to appreciate Adam as a character. And I think everyone can really say that. No matter how you feel about Adam as an individual, or if you correlate Adam to, like, real life people, which is something that I personally don't do, right? Like, obviously, if I met a person that was like Adam in the real world, I'd fucking resent them, I'd condemn them, I'd want nothing to do with them. Scummy piece of shit, like, scum of the earth. And, you know, obviously I don't think anyone would want someone like that around. But as a character, as a work of fiction, at the end of the day, you have to admire Adam. Not admire him, what am I saying? You have to at least appreciate all of the good and the bad that he does, because it's affected the show in one way, shape, or form. Whether it's, you know, Ilya as a character, Blake and Yang's growth and development, just the White Fang structure, you know, the White Fang storyline as a whole. Unfortunately, potential does not make a character. I know. It's I don't know. I felt like maybe it's just me. You know what I mean? Like, because obviously there are so many different people that feel differently about Adam, and it's just crazy that he's reduced to this crazy ex-boyfriend, especially when you see the brand. The brand was the big thing for me when I saw it. I was like, holy shit, I want to know how you became the person you are today. And maybe we will, like I said, flashbacks. You know, just because he's dead now doesn't mean that that can't be explored, because that is a past event anyway. But he's the result of human hatred. I mean, it's a multitude of things. Like, and maybe they won't explain it. Maybe it's best left up to interpretation. He was reduced to that back in Volume 3, Chapter 11. Yeah, I mean, Caleb, yeah, I definitely agree with that too. The thing that I'm hung up about so much was, like, I don't really care what he became at this point. I'm more focused on, like, the lead up to how he became that, and the fact that we got nothing of that but the brand. And I guess the brand can be left up to interpretation, but me, at the end of the day, I'm someone that's more satisfied with actually getting, like, actual conclusive, you know, like, just give it to me straight. Like, how did Adam become like this, versus just, oh, I'll leave it to your imagination. Sorry I'm late, had some personal stuff. I'm so glad Blake and Yang's relationship is off to an unbelievable start. They even got a... Oh, God. All right, let's not go that far, Shane. I'm going to stop you right there, Chief. Yeah. The more I saw Adam, the more I just built up, like, oh my gosh, this character... He's great. He does a lot for the plot, at least where it was going. And I was just more and more fascinated by him. And, like, again, like, this volume, since the Adam short, like, the eyes, like, seeing his brand or just removing the mask was, like, a big factor. And I felt like it maybe almost fell short because, yeah, we got the mask reveal, we got the face reveal, but I think it was masked over by the fact that Blake and Yang are now going to deal with him, and, you know, they're all going to make their choices, they're all going to make their decisions of, and, you know, at the end of the day, him dying, I'm not really upset the fact that he died. I think more so I'm upset by the fact of, like, the lead up to his death, because it didn't really give anything on him as a character. Anything, any long-lasting, I guess any long-lasting effects of him as a character other than, you know, what he's been meant, you know, how he's been portrayed over the last couple volumes. And I don't think Volume 5 did much for him either, especially towards the end. Maybe the reason why the mass reveal is important because it leads particularly into Volume 7. Yeah, definitely. Like, looking at the brand, I can definitely say that I don't like Atlas anymore. If anything, I loathe them even more so now. And it's going to be really bad going into Atlas because I'm going to just judge every person there. Obviously, with the exception, there are some good people that live in Atlas, right? Like Team Funky, for example. I don't think they're bad people. But yeah. Adam, I don't really know what more to say. I'm kind of, like, heartbroken. I'm kind of heartbroken by the loss of Adam. If you guys haven't realized or noticed already. I'm just, like, really bummed out that he's gone. But anyways, let's shift to some good old action, which I really liked in this scene. The 2-on-1, and I mentioned that too initially, like last week. I was like, okay, we got Adam versus Blake, we got Adam versus Yang, now we need Blake and Yang versus Adam, and we got that, which was super freaking cool. I really, really, really liked this. Just to kind of, again, see Blake, and it's very clear. I don't think anyone will argue either, but I don't think Blake or Yang could deal with Adam by themselves. Like, they had to come together. And I mentioned that too during the when the what's it called? When the opening first came out, I was like, or when I saw the opening for the first time, I was like, Adam is gonna bring Blake and Yang closer. Brought them a lot closer than I thought at the end of this episode, especially. But yeah, like, he was the commonality between them two. Like, obviously Blake's entire life, Yang over the last couple volumes, since the fall of Beacon, and Yang doesn't run away, you know what I mean? And Blake promised to never run away at this point, so, you know, what else can you do? Like, if they're giving Adam a choice and Adam is like, you made your choice, I made mine. If they kill you, what do you expect? You're not really... They don't have a choice at this point, because it's either their life or his life. So, I'm not going to get on this whole, like, banter of, like, oh my god, they're murderers, they killed him. I understand looking at it from, like, a moral standpoint. Like, yeah, you're the heroes of the story. You're the protagonist. You shouldn't be, you know, you should be above killing. But if Adam's still willing to kill you, I don't know. It's also the heat of the moment. You can't really think about shit like that when you know Adam's trying to kill both of you at any given chance that he gets. You know? Self-defense as well, that's a thing. So, I don't mind the fact that they killed him. I was more so shocked that they killed someone. And they both are equally responsible for killing Adam. The question here is... Oh, I have people over. The question here is... type 1 in the chat if you think they're going to tell anybody that they killed Adam. Or type 2 in the chat if you think they're going to keep it to themselves. And I don't mean keep it to themselves like, yo, we killed someone, we can't let anyone know. But, like, maybe be like the silent vigilante, right? Like, kill Adam, have the effects of Adam's death run its course, but don't go around bragging about it. This is their thing. This is, like, their story. This is, like, the end of their nightmare that they're putting to rest. I see no reason to hide it. I mean, if someone asks them and they're like, hey, oh god, I can already see it now. If they're like, hey, Yang, Blake, where were you guys? And if they lie, if they legit say, like, oh, we were dealing with some grunts on the way here, you know what I mean? Like, that's gonna go back to like, no more lies, no more half-truths. And I can understand Yang not telling Crow about, you know, Raven, like, oh, where's Raven? You know, and what about Raven? Gone. It's like, okay, that's kind of a half lie. Like, you didn't really explain what happened. You just explained that when you got down there, she wasn't there. So, like, now, if they ask, like, what were you up to? And you don't say, like, hey, we killed Adam, that's a straight up, that's a lie. So, I don't know the semantics of that. If you know what I mean, like, would you consider, you know, would you criticize Yang for that, not telling the truth with killing Adam, even though it's really no one's business, you know, that's a personal thing between them two, but who knows. Yang never divulges in that important information. I mean, it's Adam. Then again, I don't think Adam's really relevant to anyone besides these two. So again, from their perspective, it doesn't make sense to tell anybody. I'm wondering if the effects of killing Adam is going to have even more psychological drawbacks than simply, you know, Adam cutting off. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know what it's like to kill somebody. I think, like, it would be a life-changing event, even from the perspective of self-defense, like killing, period. I couldn't picture killing an animal to eat it. I mean, at the end of the day, like, life or death, I definitely would, but I don't know. It's definitely something, it's definitely an intense thing that not a lot of people can say they've done, or it's, you know, it's something that I guess rocks people to the core with, like, taking life. Whether it's in self-defense or whether it's because that's what you do because you're a bad person or a bad guy or whatever. I don't know. But I'm wondering if that's going to have its own baggage with it. And again, they killed him together. Yang stabbed him through the back. Blake stabbed him through the front. So they equally have the blood on their hands at that point. So as long as they have someone to go through it with, you know, who knows, they might be fine, but I can't picture Yang's, you know, jitters and everything else that she's dealt with, and adding on the fact that she's killed somebody. I can't picture that being something that's going to be easy to go through. Jean lied too. Well, the difference is, like, I'm talking about the fact that Yang was very adamant to Ozpin about no more lies, no more half-truths. But if she goes around telling Ozpin that, and then she doesn't divulge information that's relevant if people ask her, you know, like, or withholding information, like, especially if Adam is mentioned down the road and Blake and Yang keep quiet. Like, if they mention, like, oh, you know, Adam Taurus is still on the loose, or Adam Taurus, you know, is still at large. We don't know when he's, you know, his actions can still be felt to this day. Like, if they're ever in a situation where Adam is brought up or even relevant to the scenario that they're in, and they don't say anything, I mean, not really omitting, but you could easily just dispel all of that right then and there. So, yeah. I don't think it is relevant to them, though. Like I said, if the situation's brought up, like if they're watching a news network or something and they're like, Adam Taurus still at large, Blake and Yang are just like, about that. You know what I mean? But to themselves, even, I don't know. Again, it goes back to the whole vigilante of justice. Like, I don't know. But anyways, let's shift this. I really liked this moment here. I screamed at the top of my lungs when I saw this. I was like, reverse Bumblebee. But that's basically what this is. It was an exact, like, parallel to the Bumblebee moment between, like, from Blake to Yang, and now it's reversed from Yang to Blake. 4 volumes later? Yeah, this was volume top one's volume 2, bottom one's volume 6. Yeah, the reverse Uno. Yeah, the reverse Bumblebee. Super cool. A great callback. God, this was such a great callback. I think the volume... Hold on, let me see. Yeah. Again, that's legitimately a reference, and it's, again, like a reverse reference, because now Yang's doing it for Blake. Which I thought was super cool. It's Bumblebee, but in reverse. Yeah. The bee bumble. Okay, Dan. Let's Let's quit while we're ahead. Let's see. Hey, Murder, just caught up. I think Ruby's speech was baited to get a shot on the dust cart. Yeah, someone mentioned that. I completely well, not the speech, but Cordo mentioning, like, the, like, the one missile. That was definitely a debate right there. Oh, shoot. Paul's in the living room. I'm in your living room. Give me my $2 back. Oh, gosh. Paul, if you're watching... Paul, can you hear me? My friend Paul's over right now. I'll give you your $2 back after the stream. God damn it. My friends are over right now. I have a bunch of people over, my roommate. He was like, give me my $2 back. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, Massacre 540. He's a Twitch mod of mine. He's a good friend I went to high school with. Still talk to this day, which is great. I didn't realize anyone would be coming over. I don't imagine Ruby is so naive to believe Talk no Jutsu would successfully stop Cordo. I mean, she asked, so at the very least, it was like, that was the choice she was giving, you know? Everyone has a choice this episode, despite Ozpin's variation of choice, right? Blake and Yang were like, you need to leave. You need to leave us alone. This is your last chance. If you continue to fight us, you're going to die. And look what happened to him. Similar to Cordo, they were like, hey, I'm giving you a chance to stop, to talk to us, to hear us out. And if you don't want to, then at the end of the day, your mech's going to get destroyed. And everyone basically did an oopsie at that point. That's the theme. It's got to be choice. This, yeah, the theme, did Miles and Carrie or anyone mention what the theme this volume was going to be? I wouldn't be surprised if it was choice. Because usually they mention the theme, but I'm expecting them to kind of divulge a lot of their choices and a lot of the things and directions that they took this volume when the Blu-ray DVD comes out. I'm so excited to hear. Volume 5's Blu-ray DVD wasn't the most, wasn't the best in terms of, like, extrapolating, you know, their thoughts and what they felt about Volume 5. But I think with how night and day Volume 6 is to Volume 5, I'm very excited to hear a lot of their, basically just like them unraveling their mind of how they went about this volume with their decisions and the themes and what they decided to reveal and talk about and share, especially with a lot of the fans, a lot of the fan expectations, like with the Silver Eyes and Ruby's development and things of that nature. So, well, they said that they were going to be tackling a lot of themes this volume that Ruby's never experienced before and that Ruby's never gone through, really. I still can't really I still can't, like, hit the nail on the head on what that would have been. You know, I know that choice is like a big thing. I think choice has been an overarching theme for RWBY since it started, you know, as far back as Ozpin's influence and how far that's gone. You know, he always preaches choice, but he really gives people ultimatums. He doesn't really give people choices. So, you know, this volume, at the same time, at this point, I feel like it's more, I very much feel like Yang and Blake gave Adam a choice. They didn't say, if you don't not fight us, then we're gonna, you know what I mean? Like, they literally were like, hey, you can walk away from this, you can do your own thing, you can live your own life. And he chose at that point to still go forward instead of dropping the past and letting go of the past like Blake was trying to get him to. So yeah. This volume is the hell with nationalism. Adults are useless. They've become Harry Potter. Oh dear. I don't know about that one. But yeah, I really liked this. Okay. I want to show something off really quick. Give me 1 second. Do I not have the image? Okay, we'll just... Okay. So, Yang versus Adam was another great point. So, I was freaking out this entire time because, like, I thought all of the big fighting would have been done and out of the way last week. We got the little... So, the end of episode 10... We got the light skirmish between Adam and Blake. Really great to see. And obviously that set up for, you know, for Blake and Yang, you know, fighting him one-on-one again last week. And then again, like, Blake's out of commission. She's like, cat hopping across freaking valleys and waterfalls and scaling. Like, she's like a legitimate cat this episode. But yeah, I thought this whole thing was just really great to see. And then Yang just activates her semblance for the first time in what is at this point 3 years for us. Like, the last time I think she used her semblance, like legitimately used her semblance, I think was volume 3, chapter 11. Like when she got her arm cut off. That's I think the last time that we've seen her use her semblance. Yeah, she's gotten red eyes before, but the straight up Super Saiyan reflect damage back unto you, seeing it for the first time, especially in the Maya engine in volume 6, which is probably the best point at this point to see it in. You know, with volume 4 being like Rooster Teeth getting their feet wet, learning the Maya engine as they're using it, as they're shifting to that new software. And then volume 5 is, I think, really where they got their sea legs with learning how to tap into the power of the Maya engine. And that's where I think the show felt or looked the most RWBY that it did. Because when you go back and watch volume 4, it's like, wow, they were definitely learning how to use this, because it doesn't look anywhere near as good as now. But I absolutely loved seeing Super Saiyan Yang again in the Maya engine. Like, her hair is literally on fire. And I think the best that it's ever looked up until this point was definitely volume 2, chapter 4 against the mech fight, because her hair is like almost like white blonde, if that's a thing. It's like a super bright yellow, instead of this one being a more saturated yellow. I don't know. I just really think it looks super badass. And again, it kind of plays into the fact that, yeah, she's Goldilocks, but she's also kind of a reference to a Super Saiyan. God, and then she's like super badass with it. Adam's like throwing all of this crazy attacks at her. And again, at this point, I think this is where Tai Yang comes into the picture. You know, because Tai Yang, I think, was a big, not just like a support and not just a parent, but like I think really Yang's like therapist during her time at home. Because he mentions to her, like, the big thing is like, you can't, you know, your semblance is a great fallback, but you can't rely on it. You know, what happens if you miss? What happens if they're stronger than you? You know, now you're just weak and tired. The first and last time that she used her semblance in this fight was the point in time where she had to use it and go all out. And at that point, I don't think it was really, you know, I think that is just a product of her learning and growing and taking advice from her dad and actually applying it where it matters most, which is, this guy's about to kill you. You have to wait. Yeah, you know what I mean? She's been getting like hit back and forth with him. She's been dealing more hits to Adam than Adam has to her. But at the end of the day, like, she picked the perfect opportunity to use it. And, you know, that's, at the end of the day, that can't be discarded or, you know, discounted as anything more than, you know, of course, Yang learning from the past. Also, another big thing too, not in this episode, but it was in the last episode, there was a point where Yang like shot her gauntlets at Adam, and Adam swung his knife, like swung his sword, and she like pivoted to the side, and that was a direct parallel of how he first cut off her arm. But she learned from that, and she, you know, made the adjustments so it didn't happen again. That, again, is another product of her learning from her past, learning especially from a moment like that forever changed her. Let's see. That's not a knife. This is a knife. Yeah, I just think it's super cool to just see Yang. Like, she's just badass Super Saiyan. You know? The freaking I burn. And she's literally, her hair is literally on fire, which is super, I don't know. Say what you will, I still think it was great to kind of see Yang back in the fighting spirit. God, man, that's such a, and then she just like sticks it to him, like the one-hitter quitter at that point. And she grabbed his sword too. One thing though, also really quick, I don't know if any of you guys have seen this. Someone shared this with me in my Discord. I don't know who the originator of this is. I don't know who to give credit to this. I did not make this. Like I said, someone shared it in my Discord, and I was like, wow, I think that's really cool. Despite the whole shipping thing, I still think the effects of it were super great. And obviously, it's based on the fact of the results of the end of the episode with Blake and Yang. But I think this effect is super cool, and I wanted to share it. So this was so cool to see. I don't know how somebody did this, but they basically like colored in a rainbow effect for Yang's hair and her gauntlet. And obviously this is like based on, you know, the shipping factor of the episode, but I thought it was super. And they I don't know how they did it, because they also, like, you could see like the impact effect was also rainbow colored too. And I'm just like, holy shit, how did they do that? But yeah, someone shared this GIF in my Discord, and I was like, I don't even care about ships, and I think this is fucking awesome. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. It's like covering my whole screen, so I can't really show it off too much. I don't want my stream to crash either. But yeah, some sort of tracking, I assume. Yeah, definitely. They chroma keyed the yellow. Oh, that would make sense. Yeah, they chroma keyed the yellow and like the white graphics, not the 2D effect card of like the shockwave that, you know, when she hits him. Okay, one thing that I was really annoyed by after I rewatched the episode, this part right here. What's Adam's semblance? Can anyone explain that to me? Like, what's his semblance, and why does his sword have to do at all with his semblance? Like, why can't Adam use his semblance without his sword? He is the wielder of the semblance, not the other way around. Yeah, also, yeah, Yang yeet. Yo, everyone's yeeting in this episode. Like, freaking Maria yeeted the book into the forest. Yang's throwing Adam's sword overboard. I'm pretty sure, like, Ruby yeeted, like Crow's bottle of alcohol. See, like, weaponized counter rebound. Well, the thing is, like, I understand, like, maybe Adam's weapon, but it just, like, why does his like, if it wasn't for the weapon, then yeah, they'd have the exact same semblance. But I don't think it's fair to tether Adam's semblance to a weapon to negate him from being able to use it. Because that's not how everyone else's semblance in this show works. Everyone else's semblance comes from themselves. So, but then again, you have semblances that can steal semblances. So I just don't understand how a semblance is tethered to an item or a weapon. Some semblances need things to work. Well, Nora doesn't need electricity. Nora can channel electricity through her like, she can produce as well as channel electricity. So if Nora wanted to, she could just, like, charge up to use her, like, quite literally charge up to use her semblance. Velvet semblance requires the camera. God damn it, that's right. Yeah, you're right. Holy shit. I completely forgot about that. All right. I guess that makes sense. It's just so unfortunate, because it's like, you get rid of the weapon and you get rid of his trump card, even though... Well, then does that I guess then that means, like, if Velvet ever lost her camera, she'd be screwed. I don't know if Raven needs her sword to use her semblance either. Like, hers is literally a bond to a person. I don't really think... I mean, she probably does that for, like, dramatic... Like, I don't know. She could very well do that. But she has, like, 20 other blades in that. And, like, it doesn't really matter the blade either, because her blades, like, break and she replaces them constantly. I just think, like... I don't know. I don't know if that's really a good... I don't know if that's a good, like, system to base it around. The fact that... But the semblance comes from you. So how would you ever know that your semblance doesn't work unless you have a conduit for it? You know? Like, if Adam got punched in the face one day, you know, how did Adam awaken his semblance? You know what I mean? Did he like need something to I don't know. I don't know. It's odd. It's odd. I know I'm getting super worked up about it, but I do think like it's a little unfortunate to be like, you know, without the sword, he can't use his semblance. I don't know. Because it's very rare that anyone needs something to use it. If he's able to channel it through an object, that'd be cool. That would be a lot different, because then at that point, you could turn anything into a weapon. You could use a stick for all I care, or the sheath of your you know, or the sheath of your sword. Yeah. Yeah, I know his aura broke too, but like he had to fall back to using like the knife to try to kill one of them, so I'm just mentioning it for the sake of like, you know, he's been using his semblance constantly, but like why is it tethered to like, cuz Blake doesn't even mention Adam when she said it. She was like, his semblance is like yours. He absorbs damage, stores it up in his sword, and dishes it out when he needs to. But I'm like, why is it stored in the sword and not, you know what I mean? Like, where does he come into play with that semblance? So, physical semblance, physical relay. I just want Miles and Carrie to kind of clarify that, to be completely honest. Yeah. No, I'm not meaning for this moment here. Like, I know right here he couldn't use his semblance because he's out of aura. I'm just saying in general that reminded me of, like, okay, like, what's up with his semblance and his sword? Like, why is his semblance can only be used through the sword? But yeah. Weapons are extensions of themselves. I mean, I think that was just very simple. Like, Pyrrha's mention was a little bit more relevant. She says, like, all of our weapons and... She's like, all of our weapons are used as conduits for aura, you know, and essentially that means, like, your weapons can be used as an extension for your semblance, but your semblance, at least how I understood it, comes from the person itself, not from an object that's used to project the semblance. So, but then again, you have Velvet, who can create light copies of weapons, and that's another thing that's weird in of itself. Like, where does her semblance come from? Does it come from the camera? Like, where does the light, like, it uses hard light dust, so like the hard light dust creates the weapon, but what aspect of her semblance is reflected in how it's used? It's so because everyone else's semblance is very easy to understand. It's a projection of an ability, a superpower of theirs. And, you know, if you incorporate a weapon, then it kind of takes away that superpower aspect of it, in my opinion. She copies moves. Her semblance is super complex. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying the camera is a conduit by which she's able to use her semblance. But without the camera, is she still able to use it? Okay. Well, okay, her camera has nothing to do with her semblance, and that makes it even worse for Adam then. Because then it's like Adam's like a special case. Velvet can mimic physical movements. For clarification, Weiss doesn't need Martinaster to use her glyphs. Exactly. She can actually just summon, like, in the palm of her hand like she did in Volume 5. What do you think about Blake's performance in this fight? I mean, she was fighting way longer than Yang was. She was fighting Adam since, like, the top of the tower. They both fell from the tower, fought their way through the forest, fought until Yang got there. She got, like, wrecked towards the end of the fight. So, yeah, I think Blake did a really great job, at the very least, of holding off against Adam. I'm not going to sit here and say, like, oh, yeah, she definitely, like, gave Adam what for. But, yeah, Yang definitely came through. Yang has more, like, overall, like, raw power, whereas Blake, I think, at the end of the day, is just good at holding off Adam, and it would make sense of why she held off against him, because, you know, she fought alongside him in the White Fang. If anything, I would expect Blake to know how to deal with Adams and his fighting style more than Yang. But yeah, Blake definitely held her own. She definitely got some hits in on him too, so it's not like Yang came through and did all the work. And then, like I said, at the very end, Blake can't beat Adam by herself, Yang can't beat Adam by herself, but, you know, together, clearly, they stand more of a chance. Oh, and then they killed him. Oh boy. I did have a cheeky tweet about this. I said in my tweet, I was like, you mess with the bull, you get the bees. Cause they literally like stung him with blades, like one in the front, one in the back. So yeah, I made a little cheeky tweet about that just for shits and giggles. All right, let's see. Wait, hold on. Send my nurse cousin screenshots of Adam, just like I did for Weiss. And before the fall, he's gonna die in 5 minutes without medical attention. After the fall into the water, he's dead, no doubt. Severed spine, KIA instantly. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh. He's like, oh. It's like that. He's like, oh, I've been impaled, like Olaf from Frozen, which Frozen's in Kingdom Hearts. I'm gassed. Let's go. Tis but a flesh wound. By the way, this O is so important. I'm pretty sure at that point Adam was like, oh, I fucked up. I wouldn't be surprised if like his whole life flashed before his eyes. But it's like, bruh, they gave you a choice and you chose to fight. I guess he just never thought or expected that they would kill him. Oh my god, dude. Also, this is another reason why RWBY's no longer on on YouTube. Like, demonetization up the wazoo right here. Like, stab through the back, stab through the front, blood and everything. Like, straight up death. Yeah, definitely. I mean, if Jin in the second episode wasn't enough for demonetization, then this is definitely, yeah, this is definitely demonetization up the wazoo. Also, okay, just brace yourselves, guys. Brace yourselves for what I'm about to present. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. All right? Ready? 3, 2, 1. Let it sink in for a second. Let it sink in for a second. Maybe he's not dead. Okay, actually, you know what? I'm gonna take that off. Someone just said they're gonna unsubscribe. No, I'm just kidding. No body, no death? No body, no death? Where's his body? I don't see it in the water. They made a tactful decision. They made a calculated decision to be like, yo, let's have her stab Adam in the back. Let's have Blake stab Adam in the front. Let's have him fall off a cliff, bang his head, but here's the plot twist. You don't see his dead body afterwards. So who's to say he's actually at the bottom of that water? Am I wrong? Anime Rule 101. You know how many people said that Cinder was dead at the end of Volume 5? Vernal's body, that wasn't in the vault when Cinder and Neo went back there. Is she alive too? These are the questions we need to ask ourselves. All right? And I'll be damned if I'm going to watch this show and not question the no body, no death #1 anime rule. Let's see. Delta Charlie, yeah, I did read yours. Were you not here when I read it? See my super chat above? Yeah, I responded to it, the one where you're like, oh, okay, I see. All right, you're saying, okay, reread it. All right, okay, let's relax here, pal. Velvet's power is to copy weapon styles. The camera gives her the weapons. Adam likely unlocked his semblance fighting like John and ran with it. I don't know. Arnold has snapped. Okay. This is where my tweet came from. The tweet that I made yesterday. So many people, like, just ran with the idea that I made. This tweet right here is obviously a joke. Obviously a joke. By the way, quick disclaimer, this is a joke. But I ran with it as a joke because it's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure so many people, look at this, almost 200 comments off of this one tweet. So many people were like, oh my God, really? You think he's dead? Just give it up, man. Like, come on, stop being deluded. Like, so many people, you would think I insulted someone's mother by some of the responses that people were giving me based off of this funny, joking tweet. So then I tweeted, I was like, if you can't take a joke, then you are a joke, because this was clearly a joke. Hence the evil smile emoji. I put an emoji in it, of all things. But yeah, clearly a joke. I don't think Adam's alive, but I will admit, this 5% of me thinks Adam is still alive. 95%, yeah, he's donezo. He's dead as they come. But 5%, I still think he's if he's dead, I don't know. Can I don't know. I still think he's alive in here, okay? That's where my 5% comes from. He's alive in here. As long as I don't forget him, he'll never be dead. Quite literally, like that's how it works. Adam is as dead as Roman Torchwick. I mean, Roman? Some people argue that Roman didn't die, is no body, no death, despite us physically seeing him being eaten whole. You know? Did Pyrrha die? Does being disintegrated and having no corporeal form equate to not having a body? And does that in turn equate to no body, no death? You know what I mean? We have to get down to the science of what no body, no death means sometimes. Summer Rose. I didn't see a body when the show started. No, okay. I'm gonna stop. I'm trolling now. I'm hard trolling. No, Adam's dead. I still have a small glimmer of hope that he will return in the show at some point. Some shape or form. Be it a flashback. Be it a dead, lifeless corpse. Be it the end credit scene where everything is done and everyone's moving on with their things and we see like a hand come out of the water or a hand come onto the shore like, I'm not dead yet. I'm just saying. I don't know. Maybe it's just I don't want him to be dead. But yeah. Long story short, I'm joking. Don't take everything as a joke, especially if it comes from me. Don't take anything. Don't take everything that I say seriously. Don't run with whatever I say as gospel truth or, you know, as if my word is law. I'm one person. I'm a fan just like everybody else. Nothing, you know what I mean? And yeah, I decided to just troll because literally, like I said, you would think that I insulted someone's family by some of the responses people were giving me because I was joking and saying that no body, no death, Adam's still alive. But I guess people think that if people read my tweet, oh, people are going to believe him because they can't think for them. I don't know. I kind of hate that idea that people think that if I say something, people will just willingly believe me as if they can't think for themselves or come to the conclusions themselves. But no, like, obviously I'm willing to believe what I think is, you know, if I think Adam is alive, you know, leave me to my vices, you know what I mean? Like, you think what you want, I'll think what I want. I'm not going to come over, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm right, you're wrong. There's a joke at the end of the day. Welcome to Twitter. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, basically, in a nutshell. Or just welcome to the internet. If it has an emoji in it, you should probably, like, not take that super seriously. But yeah. Yeah, that was a joke. Long story short. These two can finally get on with their lives which is, you know, like I said, I don't know what this means for them in terms of the psychological endeavors that they're gonna have to deal with, you know, like, yo, we just killed somebody. I can understand Blake not being too happy about it, you know, she's crying right immediately after, and that's probably a big thing for her, you know, someone that she cared about, someone that she felt deeply for, someone that changed over time. Oh, can we go back really quick? There's one thing, I don't mean to take away from this moment, I know this is like a big moment for a lot of people, but I need to go back really quick. One thing that really annoyed me, that what Yang said, and she said, she was like, when Blake, like, she was like, oh, I have people that care about me, and I promised that I'd never leave them again. And then Adam was like, she made a promise to me too, that she'd always be by my side. And then Yang said, did she make that promise to you or to who you were pretending to be? And I don't know how I felt about that, because it's like, you can't discredit everything that Adam did as pretending to be someone. You could easily just see it as like, maybe that's exactly who he was and he just changes. You know what I mean? That's where I think, I don't think it's necessarily true that Adam was putting up a front the entire time. There could definitely be a point in time where, oh god, are you an Adam apologist? Relax. I'm speaking from the sake that, like, Adam clearly wasn't always who he is now. No one starts off as pure evil. As Blake says, there's no such thing as pure evil. Why do you think they hate humanity so much? It's because people like Cardin, people like you, that forced the White Fang to take such drastic measures. Adam didn't wake up. Adam wasn't born who we all know him as today. That's clearly not true. So, like, the fact that Yang just dismissed, like, Adam's history as, oh, you were just pretending all that time, was just like, first off, she doesn't even know who he is. Like, she doesn't know anything of Adam. We barely know, like, right? Like, we barely know Adam's past, let alone whatever Blake has ever told Yang about him. But, yeah, I just think, like, at the end of the day, Adam's history, you know, he could very well be a product of his environment. He could be a product of his upbringings. He could be a product of just being a shitty person as time goes on. And he, at the end of the day, is who he is because of the actions and the bad decisions that he's made. And that, at the end of the day, you know, like, at the end of the day, what's the saying? How does the saying go? It's one of my favorites from BioShock. It's, we all make choices, but at the end of the day, our choices make us. So for every bad decision that Adam made, that just makes him a bad person at the end of the day. But I wouldn't necessarily write Adam off as being a pretender in the beginning, in the origins of why he became a quote-unquote freedom fighter for the White Fang. That's just a little something. That's just but again, I can understand, like, Yang giving that, delivering that to him, because at the end of the day, even now, he doesn't stand for anything that he represented, especially when we first got introduced to him as a character. So, but yeah, at the end of the day, like I said, again, like, no one's pure evil. No one is born in any world, real world or fiction, pure evil. They're all a product. They're a product of their environment. They're a product of the people they surround themselves with. They're a product of the people they surround themselves with. And at the end of the day, your decisions at the end of the day make you who you are. So, what are psychopaths? I mean, I don't really know the psychology of psychopaths. But again, like I said, like, when it comes down to the whole brand thing too, I just want to know when Adam was at a base level, when Adam was, like, before he went on this path to where he eventually became the person that he is. And I think at the very beginning of Adam's life and, you know, his initial goals, I think to an extent, you can at least see, like, he probably thought what he was doing was right. I don't know. I just think at the end of the day, Adam, as a character, despite knowing who he is now, that's not who he always was. But we don't know his origin. We don't know, like, who he was before. Was he a White Fang? You know, was he a Schnee Dust Company slave? Did he get that brand as a form of punishment? Was that the final straw that kind of set him on this path? You know. And we don't know when he met Blake, too. That's a big thing, too, because it made it seem like Adam was in the White Fang just as much as her. But he was in the and Blake was in the White Fang for most of her life. She was actually, she even mentioned that you could kind of say she was born into it. So the fact that the White Fang was around since she was a kid, like, she was born into it and Adam wasn't around back then, even says a lot about his influence before the White Fang ever was a part of his life. So, again, I think we might get, like, a flashback of Adam, to some extent or to some degree, but, you know, he left a lasting impression on me at the end of the day, so again, that's why I'm kind of clinging on to him a little bit more. I feel like Adam in Volume 3, Chapter 11 was all about killing Blake to put it behind him and move on. But because she lived, he started obsessing over her, and Volume 5 writing just overdid it with the obsession, and it ruined his actual story, which was teased this volume. I mean, that's one way of looking at it. I just think there's too many variables to kind of have a definitive, like, this is who Adam was, this is the story that was meant to be told for him. It's all open to just how you've been interpreting him as, you know, since the show has started or when he became relevant. So yeah, I can't really say for sure. What's with the Adam short trailer? I mean, that's just his ascent through the White Fang ranks. That's from him being, like, I don't know, just like a lowly grunt to, you know, one of the branching leaders, one of the high-ranking members, and just the influence that he had of leading people and rallying people to his cause at the end of the day. But yeah, not to take away from that, but again, that's just something that I initially completely forgot to mention earlier. But yeah, like I said, their nightmares behind them. Blake and Yang are very much closer because of this. Like, yo, partners in self-defense. But no, in all seriousness, obviously this whole episode, like, I think the lasting effect that this episode has had on the fandom at large has been obviously Bumblebee. And you know, if it happens, it happens. I actually, you know what? I'm kind of interested if they do kind of, like, because right now I don't think it's, like, definitively, like, confirmed. I think they're on like the doorstep of confirmation at this point, or it could be. We really have to kind of see where it goes from here. I was watching a video that Erin was streaming. She was talking about the episode, and she was very much like, you know, she kind of felt it in her soul that these two, like, there was a connection between them, and that she doesn't think, like, they're, like, boy, like, you know, they're not gonna come out and be like, oh, we're dating, but it's definitely on the table now more than ever. And I'm interested in that too, because, you know, a lot of times when it comes to shows that have, like, pairings or characters that want to get to, you know, characters that you could see being together, the only show that I can ever compare it to is Naruto. And, like, Naruto, like, they established right off the bat, Sakura liked Sasuke, Hinata liked Naruto, and they waited until, like, the last episode of the, like, 700 episode series to confirm who ended up with who. And they kind of even made a movie to, you know, to add on to that with, you know, with Naruto and Hinata and their wedding and everything. So the one thing that I'm looking forward to more than anything, because even, like, Renora, for example, super subtle, you know, it's like they're holding hands. We've never seen them kiss. We've never seen them, like, be, like, overly affectionate. And I feel like these last couple of episodes have, have put it in your face more, like, with Bumblebee, especially, like, with the, I'm not going to say their outward displays of affection, because it's like, they're literally fighting for their goddamn lives. The last thing I think they're trying to portray here is, like, romantic vibes when they're trying to fight Adam and, you know, not die. But, like, you know, the hand holding, the hugging, the foreheads touching, the, you know, the close-ups and all that stuff. Obviously there's subtlety, and then there's, you know, kind of throwing it in your face. But, you know, if it happens, like I said, I welcome it. I have no problems with that whatsoever. I'm not really too affected by ships. You know, it's no surprise. I've been talking about that for God knows how long. But if they do it, then fucking do it. Like, don't beat around the bush about it anymore. Just so we can kind of move forward with seeing what this does for them two as characters, what this does for their dynamic moving forward. But yeah, let's see. That's all my time. That's all like Twitter's been like the day this episode came out. Like, my God, never in my life have I ever seen like a reception quite like that. So many people are excited about it, and like again too, like I don't resonate with. I guess it might just be like the quote-unquote like romantic aspect of shows. Like, I don't watch like romance anime. Like, the romance genre is I think the one genre of that I'm like the furthest from. Not to say I have any problems with it, because, you know, a lot of relationships can bring a lot to a story, and, you know, the dynamic of how that works. But I know that there are so many people that are excited about this, and I'm just looking through and I'm like, holy shit, so many people are like through the roof about it. So at the end of the day, I'm wondering if, like, obviously, like I said, this is kind of setting up to the fact that, yeah, there's definitely a lot of something more there. I'm just wondering how Rooster Teeth is gonna, like, solidify it. And if they don't do it next week, which I don't know if they will, considering how they've kind of set this up the last couple of episodes, right? With the hand-holding and, like, we're protecting each other. And just, like, the subtlety of it over the last couple of episodes. This volume in particular. I'm wondering when they're going to actually confirm it. Either that, or someone's going to ask the question at RTX, and they're going to be like a deer caught in the headlights. Either they're going to verbally confirm, or they're going to be like, keep watching the show and you'll find out. So, who knows? But yeah, felt the need to, you know, obviously it was a big part of the episode, meant a lot to a lot of people, and, like I said, this kind of opens the doors and makes things, like, possible, despite the fact that there's a lot of people that don't want it to happen. So many people are so fucking, like, it's so ridiculous how much people are like, I don't want this happening in my RWBY. It really isn't that serious, like, to where you have to, like, go out and attack people over a show. I don't know. It baffles me. It really baffles me at the end of the day. Like, if something in this, like, and I think, again, it comes down to, like, how people react to other people's reaction. Like, oh, if someone, I don't know. I'm rambling. I've already talked about this at length, especially in last week's discussion. Long story short, I'm happy for people who are super excited, who probably saw this since Volume 1 when no one else was. And, you know, clearly I really have no interest in it at the end of the day. I've never really been against it. You know, it's just something I don't really focus all that much time on for the relationship aspects, but I'm happy that other people are happy, and I'm excited to see where it goes, because, again, a lot of shows that I watch don't focus on any type of romance or any type of shipping aspect when it comes to characters, especially main characters more than anything. But yeah. So that was great, and again, it's the end of a chapter for them. They can finally start living their life, unless Adam's not dead. Like I said, no body, no death. 5% in my heart that Adam is not gone. But who knows? But yeah, this is gonna be like they're actually free. They're more free than Salem is right now. But yeah. Let's see. And then yeah, the fucking God, I was so triggered. I was so annoyed when this moment happened. When they were like, "Ma'am, we need you. Argus is in danger." I was like, you've gotta be kidding me. I was so mad. Because I literally was like, this is exactly what I said last week. I was like, you're gonna attack this lady who's doing her job, despite the fact that she's flexing, and despite the fact that, yeah, she's kind of an asshole with not wanting to hear you out, but you attacking this military base was the catalyst that set up for her mech now being out of commission. And now you got a giant Grim on the way. You got dozens upon dozens of Manticore and Sphinx Grim. This was abysmal. I was so annoyed by this. I was like, oh my god, you've got to be kidding me. But yeah, here we go. Oh, also, I'm gonna probably, I don't know how people feel about this, but I think this is like a really lame design of a Grim. I know it's like a Godzilla Grim. I don't want to say it's lame, right? I don't want to discredit like someone actually making this design, but I can't help but think that this is like a dolphin and platypus hybrid. It just looks like it. It's just like a Godzilla-sized dolphin platypus hybrid Grim. It really just looks like a giant platypus, in my opinion. I don't know what it can do. Like, if its size is its only, you know, strong suit, then yeah, it's pretty lame. But, like, you have these Manticore over here and these Sphinx that can, like, breathe fire. You have Apathy that can cause you to lose your will to live. You have the Sea Fei Long, who's, like, a land, air, and sea Grim, and it shoots lightning. You have, you know, you have, what other Grim are there? There's so many different Grim with so many varying forms of, like, diversity. And I'd be really upset if this Grim just has, it's just, like, walking in, like, hey guys, I don't mean to be a bother, just passing through. You know what I mean? I don't know. It just seems like a joke right now. If it's actually a threat, and if it can do, like, some really crazy, like, you know, like, shoot an ice beam out of your mouth, or, you know, you're not like a Grim Drag, you can't spawn Grim. I don't know. And this seems like a big, I don't know if this is like a one-of-a-kind. They did say that the mech is used to fight giant Grim out at sea, so I don't really know if this is like a unique Grim like the dragon or the Knucklevi or whatever you might, you know, or whatever the case might be. But yeah, like, it has to have some added effects, some added something. It can't just be a giant Grim that does nothing. That'd be really underwhelming. The fall of Beacon Part 2 Electric Boogaloo. That's pretty messed up. Loving your Grim impressions, Arnold? Well, I mean, I don't know why. It's just like walking in, I'm just like, you look so dumb. You look so derpy and like out of place. You don't look hostile or terrifying at all by any means. You literally look like you're lost, like you need directions somewhere. I don't know how else to phrase it. It's just like, eh. Oh, by the way, what do you guys think? Are you guys for, what is it, Lenny or Bubbles for this Grim's name? Hold on, let me take off slow chat. Oh god, do I still have, hold on, let me see. Okay, let me take off slow chat real quick. All right, slow chat is now off. Bubbles, yes, I like Bubbles because then I can call him Mr. Bubbles, which is basically the name that the little sisters call the big daddies from BioShock. So like Mr. Bubbles, I think that I just like that because then it's like, it's just another BioShock nod because BioShock's one of my favorite video games of all time. So yeah, let's see. Maybe it can cause a tsunami. That'd be interesting. That'd suck. Because they're, like, boxed in, like, on a hill. On a slope. How do you think they're gonna win the day / survive, Arnold? I'm somewhat doubting that Ironwood's gonna show up in Gypsy danger. A giant penny will save the day for them. I kind of gave I did a poll. And those polls, I kind of had a little bit of belief. I put a little bit of belief in each one of them. But, you know, Ruby's trial by fire, Maria mentioned it back, I think, in Chapter 7 or Chapter 8, you know, with the whole silver eyes. She's like, you'll only be able to use it in the presence of Grimm, so the only training you'll get is a trial by fire. Hey, Ruby, guess who has no aura? 90% of your squad. The only people who are like capable of fighting that have aura is Ren, who can mask probably like maybe 5 people max, and Crow, which you might as well just be irrelevant because your semblance is not helping anyone. Like even Blake and Yang don't have aura, so even if they come back into the mix, there's nothing that they can really do. So my thought was like Silver Eyes are basically like levels of magic at this point. They're like gifts of the gods. So I don't think having aura. I think aura is completely irrelevant to the concept of Silver Eyes. What I'm wondering and what I'm worried about is that do the Silver Eyes have drawbacks? Can RWBY literally just vaporize all of these Grimm, with Maria coaching her, and like nothing happens? Because that's a big thing too. Like a lot of people were speculating that the more you use aura, it burns your eyes, and that's how a lot of people thought Maria lost her eyes, but her eyes were just sliced out. So I am curious to see. So the poll that I had was RWBY's gonna use her. RWBY's gonna learn to shoot laser beams from her eyeballs to kill monsters. Ozpin's gonna show up, and he mentioned his cane still has a few tricks up its sleeve. I don't know if I don't know. It might be a little bit forced to kind of have Ozpin come back and save the day, because then that defeats the purpose that these students don't need adults helping them, or they don't need Ozpin to kind of do their own thing. I mentioned that Ironwood and or Winter will return and provide assistance because, again, Crow sent his letter out. I don't know how soon it's going to get to them. And, I had a Summer Rose mention, which, if RWBY's using her Silver Eyes and she's just like her mother and she's special just like her mother, I wouldn't be surprised if Crow, at the very least, mentions, like, oh, you're just like your mom, or, you're just like, he just has, like, a moment of seeing Summer Rose, in RWBY for how much she's grown. But yeah, I really have no idea. The Crewbie has been hyping this episode up for better and for not for worse, but some of the tweets are worrisome. I believe it was Neith's, the voice of Ren, Neith Ohm. I believe his tweet was kind of a little alarming. He was like, you guys haven't seen anything yet. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, what? Melanie Stern mentioned that she, like, watched the final render of the final episode earlier this week, and she was like, I loved it so much, I was crying. And I was like, are you crying for a good thing? Are you crying for a bad thing? Like, what's this episode gonna do to us? I have no clue. But, I have no clue. Your guess is literally as good as mine, but this is where we are right now. They all screwed up. They're like, oh, shoot, did we do that? And now they don't have, their biggest gun is out of commission. So they have airships, they have ground troops, but that's it. And they have a girl who can kind of use Silver Eyes. So at the very least, like, do with that what you will. But I really don't know how. Unless something like, again, unless they have like an intervention, unless Ironwood or Winter shows up with reinforcements. But then that victory won't really feel deserving. It'll just feel like convenient that they had help in the nick of time. So yeah, I'm wondering how that's gonna affect them. Obviously, RWBY Silver Eyes, I think, are gonna be a big factor. I just don't know if that's gonna be enough to save the day or not. Are there gonna be stakes? Is someone gonna die? Is someone gonna get severely hurt? Are they gonna make it to Atlas by the end of the episode? How long is the runtime? What's the end credit scene gonna give us? There's so many questions. I don't watch any teasers. I do not watch teasers. I do not watch early previews. I go in every episode as blind as possible. So, or just blind, period. I stay away from things like the plague, so I know absolutely nothing about anything that's mentioned or shown early as like as an early sneak peek. Let's see. Hold on. Yeah, Herman, I saw your super chat about the petition. Yeah, I don't really care about it. That's why I wasn't really saying much, because it's like, what more can I say? Yeah, people have a petition to get rid of Bumblebee. Like, fucking go actually, like really, like, go do something more productive with your life. Like, let people have, let people celebrate. Let people have fun. Let people enjoy something that they're invested in. Like, it doesn't hurt you in any shape or form. So I think people just need to get their priorities straight, to be completely honest. It was at that moment that they knew they effed up. Yeah, I like I said, you guys will see my reaction tomorrow to Chapter 12. I'm going to record my reaction to Chapter 13, and then I got to record my reaction to Genlock Episode 2. I'm also going to be editing my reaction to Genlock Episode 1 because I already saw the episode. And yeah, I'm going to be finalizing the last few things for the week. Next Thursday, or rather this upcoming Thursday, is going to be the last live stream discussion that I'm going to do for the volume finale. Also, how long do you guys think this episode will be? Like, be realistic. Don't be like an hour long. Like, let's be serious. Like, how long do you think the finale is going to be? Because 45 minutes. I don't know why. I've seen that number around so much. I don't really think it's going to be 45 minutes. Like, you are bugging. RWBY hasn't even reached 30 minutes for an episode, let alone 45. In my opinion, at least. If the episode is shorter than Chapter 3, which was the longest episode of the volume so far, I will be very surprised. The longest episode, technically the longest episode of the volume, of the series, has been the Volume 3 finale. But obviously that includes the intro, the outro, the credits, etc., etc. But that's all that, that has to be included at the end of the day, because I'm not going to just include the episode itself. It's all encompassing. So, if it's longer than the Volume 3 finale, then even, more power to you. But yeah, these last few episodes have been very, like, bite-sized, like 14, 15, 16-minute episodes. So, if this one's at least 25, 26, 27 minutes, I'll be really happy. 30 minutes? Let's go, boys. Let's go. I'll be very surprised if it's 30 minutes. Just because at that point, I'm like, what the hell are they going to jam-pack into this episode? They have to deal with this major conflict, not to mention the villains that I don't even think we're going to see I don't even think we're going to see Neo and Cinder and Watts and Tyrion. I think they're just going to go to Atlas of their own accord or by their own devices and, show up, once they get to Solitas, once the plot gets, a little bit more up to speed. I have no clue. They have to deal with this giant Grim. They have to deal with all of these Grim in the sky. They got to find a way to Atlas, even though Cordovan, you know what I mean? Like, I think, like, now that they screwed over Cordo, they're probably going to still try to help fight all the Grim. RWBY's going to save the day with her eyes for the most part, or dish out most of the damage to mitigate the Grim for the most part. And then Cordo's really going to have no choice but to bank them. You know what I mean? And hopefully listen to her at that point. But who knows? Who knows? And then the volume will conclude. Tomorrow is the finale. I'm going to wake up at like 8 in the morning. I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to have breakfast. I'm going to probably play like a game or two of League. And then at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, RWBY Volume 6, Chapter 13 finale comes out. Now I'm getting nervous. Now, like, me just setting all that up in my head, now I'm actually getting nervous. Now I'm just like, oh dear. Like, anxiety's definitely kicking in. And it's gonna be so bittersweet to say goodbye to this show again. Every volume, it's so hard. It's a bittersweet thing. It's like, we had a great run. The volume is obviously gonna come back. RTX is going to be that intermission of getting excited. We have the Blu-ray DVD commentaries. We have the soundtrack that's going to come out most likely in the summer. So, there's obviously going to be more RWBY stuff. And, I don't know. It's just, I always have a good time. I have a great time with RWBY and I always look forward to talking about it with people on a weekly basis, whether it's my reactions, my live discussions. Like I said, I started doing theories and a bunch of other creative videos. I did a lot more shitposts this year. I did AMV videos. I wanted to do reviews, but I never was able to work it into my schedule because I was so busy doing other things. And this volume has shaped up to be one of, if not the best volume of the series in a long time. You know, especially since a lot of people hail Volume 3 as the best volume. But, you know, again, like I said, I definitely appreciate all of you guys for tuning in and week out. The premiere reactions have been great too, like seeing everyone's reactions to my uploads every Saturday has been incredible. And on top of that too, like we still have at least one more week to get through before my final videos start coming out. So, you know, I definitely appreciate your guys' support. I'm glad you guys like the videos and enjoy the videos, and I'm glad that I was able to kind of step up this volume and deliver a lot more in terms of videos instead of what I've done in the past. And Genlock is going to be a different ball game. Like I said, I'm going to do reactions for Genlock. I don't know how reactions are going to be applied if Rooster Teeth is if Genlock is Rooster Teeth first only. I will try to still do reviews. I'm going to be doing a different format for Genlock reviews that I wanted to do with Volume 6, but I just never got around to doing. So hopefully, if this format is well received for Genlock, then I'll definitely bring it back for Volume 7 whenever that ends up coming out. I'm going to be going to RTX this year too, so I'm going to be recording my reaction to Volume 7. Obviously, that's months down the line. Kingdom Hearts 3, again, KH3 comes out in America. It's already out in Japan, but KH3 comes out in North America on Tuesday. I will be doing what will probably be my first 24-hour live stream. I will be playing that game from the time that it's out at midnight until I can't stay up anymore. And I'm going to play that game and stream it day in and day out until I finish it. So if you guys are Kingdom Hearts fans, or if you guys want to kind of check out, you know, me playing Kingdom Hearts for the first time, I've played all the games. I've been invested in this series for the past 16 years, and the saga is coming to a close. It's going to be over on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/MurderofBirds. I'll let people know again, like the night of the night of the stream, and hopefully I can get those transferred over to YouTube at some point in time. But yeah, don't do that to yourself. You need sleep. Well, I'm gonna get sleep Monday. Like Monday, I'm probably gonna sleep all Monday, or for the most part, sleep for the most of the day, because I'm not gonna want to sleep. Like if Kingdom Hearts is out, I'm gonna want to play that game. If I'm not sleeping, the only way I won't do a midnight stream of Kingdom Hearts 3 is if I fall asleep before midnight. But afterwards, it's like no, like I won't be able to function if I have that game in my possession. So. But with all that said, guys, it's been fun. I hope all of you guys enjoy the Volume 6 finale tomorrow. Please, at the very least, Episode 1 at Genlock is going to be available on the Rooster Teeth site for everybody. At least watch the first episode. And if it's something that you're interested in, know that I will be making content for it. And if you want, you know, obviously continue being a first member, you'll be able to watch the rest of the series. It's only going to be 8 episodes, but Episode 1 is 32 minutes. Episode 2, I believe, is 26 minutes. And on top of the RWBY finale, you're probably going to be on the RT site for well over an hour, which is very exciting. But again, thank you guys very much for joining the discussion. We got one more week. Again, like I said, my reaction to Chapter 12 will be up on the channel tomorrow. I'll be recording my reaction to the finale, as well as Genlock videos. Genlock will either be out on Sunday or Monday. And that's just because I'm gonna be a little bombarded with prepping and getting everything set up for RWBY tomorrow at the very least. But again, thank you guys very much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Have fun with RWBY discussion, and I will see you guys all in the final discussion next week on Thursday on the channel. But thank you guys so much. I appreciate the support. Enjoy the rest of your night, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.